leaned forward and counted the number of squares between them. She was standing diagonally across from him, a distance of 7 white tiles. "This feels like a game of chess," he said. "Is that why you keep moving about? You're putting your pieces in place for an attack." She turned to face him, her eyes narrowed. "Chess is a cheap metaphor. It's what men use when they want to talk in a grandiose way about conflict." An argument had been building between them all afternoon, ever since Bunny had brought their lunch to a sudden end. "The three of us need to have a conversation, away from Spanish eyes." Megan looked out of the window again, and there it was, as inevitable as the weather. The impending argument, a black stain layered over the blue sky. "Chess is all about rules and symmetry," she continued, "but conflict is usually just cruel and dirty." Henry strummed the guitar as a way of changing the subject. "Do you know how to tune this thing?" He'd found it hanging on the wall above his chair. "I could play this if it was tuned." "No," she said, and left the room. He watched her walk deeper into the house, successively smaller versions of her framed by further doorways along the corridor. Then he lit another cigarette. "When do you think he'll wake up? I'd like to get some fresh air." She was back, the biggest version of her standing in the nearest doorway. "Who knows?" said Henry. "Right now he's sleeping the sleep of the just had lunch." She didn't smile. "You can go ahead and leave. I think anything he has to say can wait." Megan paused, her face as pristine and unreadable as it was in her publicity photos. She was an actor by profession. "Do you know what he's going to say to us?" Henry hesitated. "I don't think so." "Fine. I'm going outside then." He nodded and watched her leave. The corridor led away from the lounge in the direction he was facing, and he saw her walk down it and through a door at the end. The stairs were to his left. He continued toying with the guitar strings until one of them snapped and the flailing metal cut the back of his hand. At that moment, the room darkened, and he automatically turned to his right. Megan was at the window looking in, the red hills behind giving her outline a demonic glow. She didn't seem able to see him. Maybe the day outside was too bright. But he felt like a creature in a zoo anyway, with the back of his hand held over his mouth as he sucked the slight cut and his fingers hanging from his chin. Megan took shelter on the shaded side of the house. Standing in a clump of wildflowers, she leaned back against the building and closed her eyes. From somewhere nearby came a soft, percussive sound. Dip, dip, dip. It seemed to originate from behind her. She thought at first it was the carried sound of the guitar coming through the walls, but it wasn't melodic enough for that. It was very faint, almost not there at all, but she could still hear it, as unmistakable as a stone in her shoe. Dip, dip, dip. She turned around and looked up. Through a wrought-iron grille, she could see a fly repeatedly hitting itself against the closed window of Bunny's bedroom, the one next to hers on the top floor of the house. It was just a tiny fly trying to escape. Then she saw that there were 2 of them. 3, in fact. Now 4. A whole swarm of flies trying to get out. The corner of the window was dark with them. She could picture the dead ones littering the windowsill. She found a small stone on the ground and threw it at the window. The black clouds scattered at the audible clunk, but no sound came from inside. She tried again, but couldn't rouse her sleeping host. She grew impatient and picked up a whole handful of stones, throwing them one